Hi guys, welcome to Classic Retro Corner. Today we're going to take a run through of the software on the Ouya. So when you first boot up your Ouya, you'll get to the main launcher screen. You have four options. You've got Play, Discover, Make and Manage. So we'll jump into Manage first, as that's pretty much the most boring menu you can go through. In here you can control your accounts, link controllers, set up Wi-Fi networks, notifications. The only time I've seen something in here is when I plugged in my Ouya to the PC and it popped up with the generic Android, do you want to make this a storage device and things like that. So never really see anything in there, so if you go in there now you'll just see there's no system messages. Go into system and you get your console info. So you can see here we're running the latest build, which is 1.0.346_R1. that came out around I think it was the 1st of July that one came out, so not a big update, but still an update. And we've got the console ID, your IP addresses, all that kind of good stuff. So system update, that's a manual check for system update, so you can go in there and it will run off to the Ouya servers and see if there's any new software. Under advanced you get the underlying Jelly Bean menus, so you can do things like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Ethernet. Oddly there's data usage in here still, so I think that's that kind of came with the Wi-Fi and the Ethernet settings. What else do we have in there? We have sound settings, HDMI, so you can set up overscan and things like that. Storage, so you can see how much of the 8 GB you're actually using. You only get to use about 5.5 GB of the internal storage, and then that's divided up into apps, downloads, miscellaneous, in your free space. So you can see I've got quite a lot on here at the moment. I have got a 32 gig pen drive in the back of it for ROMs for emulators and a few other bits and bobs. At the moment you can't install your Ouya games to any kind of USB storage at the moment, so hopefully that will come in a later update. If at any time you want to go out of any of the menus and back to the main launcher screen, you can double tap the home button and it takes you straight back to the Ouya launcher main screen. So we'll go to Make next. Under Make you have builds of software if you're a developer. Under Software you have all your side-loaded applications that don't really have any place in the other menus. So apart from Browser, which is a really dumbed down browser, everything else here I've side-loaded. So I've side-loaded Chrome, so I've got a good web browser on here. Dead Trigger, BusyBox as I've rooted Ouya, ES File Explorer, Dropbox, FX Explorer. MAME for Droid Reloaded is a really good MAME emulator, which is really good for arcade games. Humble Bundle, that's the launcher for the Humble Bundle download, so you can jump into there and download any kind of Humble Bundle applications. PPSSPP is a kind of a work in progress PSP emulator I'm keeping my eye on at the moment. Doesn't work too well on the Ouya yet though, unfortunately. Solar 2 and Super Hexen are from Humble Bundle. Super User is part of the rooting process, so I've got the ability to give applications root access now, which is good. XBMC is a fantastic media browser. If you want to use your Ouya as a media center PC rather than a gaming console, XBMC is definitely the way forward for it. VLC is just for watching quick videos really, so if you've got a single video on a pen drive you want to watch, you can watch it straight through VLC rather than loading it through XBMC. So it takes a little bit of the hassle away. Then we've got YouTube. This is the YouTube application from Google TV. So you can find this by doing a quick Google on the internet and you'll find the APK for it. It's good, but you can't sign into any kind of YouTube accounts yet because it hasn't got the underlying Google software on here. And Zen Pinball HD, which runs really well, but you can't do in-app purchases or anything yet, as it's not been made official for the Ouya yet. Hopefully it will do. So we'll jump out of here and we'll go into Discover. Now Discover is the Ouya's proprietary store, so everything in here is, I'd say, 99% compatible with the Ouya. There's the odd game it isn't, but I'll come back to that in a moment. So we've got our featured applications. These are kind of applications that have been chosen to show off the Ouya a little bit. So you've got some really good games in here like Dub Wars, Bard's Tale, Shadow Gun, and things like that. There is a few in there that really... There's a few more games that should be in there really, but I'm not sure how often this is updated. You've got the VIP room, which is Ouya exclusive games. So you've got things like Chrono Blade, which is a fantastic side-scrolling beat-em-up. It is going cross-platform soon, and it's only available as a demo at the moment, so hopefully the full game will be well worth it. You've got things like Red, which is a twin-stick shooter. And then you've got your playlist, so you've got some kill screen ones, penny arcade things. Some of these don't really make much sense at the moment, so you've got the Founders, which was the first people to write applications for the Ouya, so some of these are pretty cool. You've got Bomball, which is pretty good, Saturday morning RPG, Flip Riders, which has not long come out of Sandbox I don't think, Radiance, as some of you might know from the Android version, which is pretty good. Showcase, which is kind of like two-player games. Trending now, if you go into any of the applications, you'll see at the bottom this little thumb mark. It's a bit like the YouTube thumbs up. If you click it, you add a vote to that game. And you can click it again to take it away. And that kind of votes it up, and the highest trending apps all go into the trending playlist. And you've got the genres, which is quite a useful one to go around. So it's all separated out between what sort of games they are. So you've got quick games, first-person shooters, platformers, applications, games that take advantage of both sticks, puzzle games, role-playing games, racing games, anything you can think of's in there. And when you get to the bottom, you've got sandbox games. These are kind of works in progress. So you've got a few applications in here that may not be 100% compatible. So going back to the whole, some of the games are only 99% compatible. This is going to be those. So these are kind of works in progress, so you can download them, give them a go while the developers are working on them. Eventually they will go into the main store and you can download them and play them as much as you like. One more thing I should say about the Discover setting is, if we go back into it quickly, all the games are free. Now, they're not free for the full version, but the Ouya philosophy is make every game available as either a demo or free to play. So you can jump into any of these games and give it a try before you hand over any of your cash. So you can also jump into a game, see lots and lots and lots of screenshots. You can download it or see more information about that game. And last but not least, we have the play menu. So this is where all your Ouya store apps will be installed, and they'll all show up in here. The last played application or the newest installed application will be in this top left hand corner just here, and then everything else will shuffle down. So this is where my kind of gripes begin with the Ouya. There's not many, don't get me wrong, there isn't many, but it's the way that every application is installed, this massively long bar. Kind of gets a bit annoying when you're trying to find things. Now at the moment I don't have any apps that will need updating, as I think I've just ran the last of the updates. If you look in the top right hand corner here, you'll see a little downward arrow when there is an update, and where it says launch here, it will actually change to update. So instead of launching the application, it will download the latest update before it will let you play it, which is pretty good. But it would be nice if you had a update all, as occasionally you can get updates pretty quickly for several apps at the same time, and you have to click each one individually, which can get a little bit monotonous. Same as when it's installing applications, you can queue them up. It'll also queue updates, so it'd be nice if there was some kind of way of seeing a list of currently downloading, a bit like you get on the Xbox 360 in the PlayStation. You get a list of currently downloading or currently updating, so you can actually see what's going on, which would be quite nice. But yeah, you can see I've got a fair few applications installed on here from a lot of different places, or a lot of different genres. So I've got things like emulators, I've got some applications, I've got a few of the Ouya games, I've got things like Shadow Gun, I've got a few racing games, a few puzzle games, pinball games. One of my favourite games at the minute is Nightmare Tower by Juicy Beast, so I'm playing that a heck of a lot at the moment. It's a very, very, very addictive game. It's quite cheap as well. Speaking of prices for games, the annoying thing that I find about the Ouya is, when I first bought the Ouya system, I got a £10 voucher for it. so I didn't have to put any kind of credit card details in when I first signed up, which gave me £10 of store credit. But when you put it in, it converts it to $15 of store credit, and every application on here is in dollars, not pounds, so it's a little bit awkward to work out sometimes. So if they could do localization on the cost of things, that'd be great. And that's pretty much the Ouya software in a nutshell. It's not bad. It is a work in progress, so there are a few things I'd like to see in here, like the download menu of what's downloading. It'd be nice to see as an extra option here. If you download anything, you could have a download menu, say sort of here-ish, that pops up when you've got things downloading, like a download queue. Another annoyance is when you hit the power button, if you turn off the Ouya there, it doesn't turn itself off properly. 9 times out of 10 it will turn itself back on, or it will just relaunch the browser. So if you want to turn it off, hold the power button down on the Ouya until it says shut down, and then do it that way around. Other than that, it's not a bad system. Quite a few games will stay in the background for a little bit when you're running them, which is good if you want to jump out and do something else for a moment, sort of download the next game you want to play or something like that. And you can jump back into that game if it's part of the Ouya store. If it's not part of the Ouya store and it's under the make menu, it tends to reset whenever you exit it. Yeah, definitely a good effort so far. The updates have come pretty quickly. Since the launch I've had 2 updates, one on launch date and one on July 1st, and not really had any problems with it so far. Not really had any slowdowns or anything else with it. Definitely still recommending the Ouya as a system to pick up for £99 or $99. It's well worth picking up just to have a play with, even if you don't like it and you end up getting it traded back in or something. It's well worth giving it a go for a start, and most people will actually quite like it. It'd be quite nice when some of the bigger names in Android start making applications for it that are joypad compatible. A bit like Dead Trigger that I've got in here is a bit of a pain to get set up on the newest version. You have to I had to use a PlayStation 3 controller to set the keys up on it before my Ouya controller would work. As the Ouya controller will work, as in it will make you move, but there's no button assigned to shoot on there, so you can't actually finish the first mission, which without finishing the first mission you can't get into the options screen. So a little bit of a downside, but then again it's not made for the Ouya yet, so that's only a little gripe. But anyway, that's the Ouya software. Definitely giving it a thumbs up at the moment, and I'll catch you guys next time. We hope you enjoyed this software run through. For more videos, hit the subscribe button. You can also check out our website and Facebook page with the links in the box below.